Hello, I'd like to talk to you about a dating simulator that I hope to scale up to an idol simulator. They use generative models to determine how you interact with the virtual agent, how the virtual agent looks to you, and how the virtual agent is bound by its own interactions and internal logic and how it acts toward you. A primary concern that it also has been shown that I'd have to work on is the fact that I want to get away from the uncanny valley. And the current computer vision techniques don't get me far enough. So instead, I use anime in the style of virtual YouTubers such as Corone or Calliope and Chiari, who are part of HoloLive EN. And I just mentioned Corone, who's part of HoloLive JP. And due to their success, all of them having approximately 1 million followers or more, that this is either not only a stopgap, but also the situation and limitations that are currently in place. I don't condone anybody using this software also to make copies of anybody, and in some jurisdictions that's illegal, and that's not the intention of the software at all. Currently, the system is really in two pieces. One is the GANs used to generate the visual stimuli, which I already am building upon. And two are really the language models that I'm piecing together, which are primarily me using off-the-shelf models from the Transformers library. To actually measure progression in the system, I do actually have a way by using sentiment analysis to do that. I watched a YouTube video about dating one day done by Jordan Peterson, and he said that the progression of a relationship would go forward based on a ratio of 5 positive interactions to 1 negative interactions. And this is the basic way I'm currently using to progress, and also to change states, which could not only be seen as progress, but also go back. So that's why it's more of a simulator than a video game. Although I suppose it would be able to enjoy it as a video game to just unlock all the abilities. So basically, I'm using BERT to do sentiment analysis on the input text that you submit, and then that would go to higher to the system versus lower. And how I expect the way to do it would be to have sort of like a dating sim, like a little website where you can search for like anime characters with simulated profiles. You pick them and then like you match. They have some procedural logic, but right now I really have a lot of it just hard coded, or there's only really one system and it's not refined. And how I do the language modeling, or the interactions too, is I'm using BlenderBot. And BlenderBot 400 million is the one I'm using. Due to latency issues with larger versions of BlenderBot, and also my evaluation of other systems such as Dialog GPT, which don't seem to help. third, the visual stimuli has two pieces. One is the generation of the face itself, and two is to tie that in after you generate the face to animate the face. On the first part, I'm using off-the-shelf models and also pre-trained systems from Gwern, specifically this waifu does not exist. And the second piece is using a set of deep learning systems that was created using Make It Talk. And Make It Talk creates, I believe, a polygonal mesh based on the input image, but the main issue I have using that is, while it's half implemented, I need more time to implement that piece. So the visual and focal stimuli aren't fully integrated, but they're more like an engineering system, and that's why I'm focusing on the language model. And the language model basically BERT performing also the sentiment analysis. During the sentiment analysis and that ratio, I don't think it has really been defined as a name for the ratio, although I call it a synchronization ratio in the code. Specifically, it's in LogicPy. And right now, I have only 3 systems. One is the local system, and the local system is what I showed in a previous technical demo. 2 is a chatbot interface, which I'll show to you. And 3 is an SMS interface using Twilio. I hope to have 4 would be a Twitch interface, which requires a text-to-speech system and the face rigging. Although I may be able to get around that, but that's for next sprint. Like this technical demo is basically the second sprint, but due to a lot of factors, I've made a lot of feature creep. And also, I am self-hosting this system by using Comcast Business, and due to the fact that EC2, even though it would provide me like great servers to do that, it would cost me at least $700 a month. And instead, I built a Threadripper rig with GeForce RTX, which I used before to do my poetry simulations, or my poetry investigations, and my Trump Twitter bot. But because even buying it outright, it's only like $3 or $4 grand. So, and I also put a Tesla M40 in it, although I might pull that out and use that as a backup system or a workstation-like system, because I'm sort of hitting power limitations, which are fun. I broke a power system, and my brother had to RMA it. So enough talk about me. Let's go demo the system for you. So here I started prompting the system already. And now I'm responding to the system's previous text. Right now it only saves the state by taking your phone number and then saving it to a JSON file. I'm doing that just for prototyping purposes. I expect to use Redis and or Postgres to store the information. And right now it's just doing inference over Twilio. And as you can see, the latency is quite good. The issue is that the responses can be not as good or poor. And also, those responses don't seem to have that much memory. Although this could be because I'm using a distilled version of the model. This is actually real. I mean, I just got a miniature pincer rescue about 9 months old. There's no beach near me either, but it's not like the system would know where I live anyways. I haven't passed that information. It really is much it, and eventually I just end the conversation soon with like a question, sort of like to go out somewhere. And that's about it for this demo. Okay, so this is a work in progress right now. As you can see, there's a login button, which should be submit, but works through typing anyways. It's going to be very similar to the previous demo. You can also see there's an avatar I plan on using again to generate that avatar or really the matching portion of the system. So these situations are sort of in between. You can keep on talking. Interesting thing, well, now they're using Flask is, as you can see, it actually is responding to the individual responses, which I guess asynchronously